Welcome to Teaching Teachers. My name is Helen Rousseau, and the topic we will be discussing today are reading theories. The one is the behaviorist theory, and the other is the psycholinguistic theory. As we can see in this slide, the behaviorist and psycholinguistic reading theories both have different approaches but comprise of the same skills: letters and sounds, words recognition, sentences and phrases, and comprehension. Although they comprise of the same skills, they have different approaches. The behaviorist theory has the bottom-up approach, whilst the psycholinguistic has the top-down approach. As you can see with the arrows shown, the behaviorist theory starts at the bottom at letters and sounds and makes its way up to comprehension, whilst the psycholinguistic works its way down, starting with comprehension and eventually ending with letters and sounds. The name behaviorist theory comes from psychologists arguing that children should learn from imitation and modeling, meaning that children learn the required behavior through social interaction. This theory starts at the bottom of the pyramid, which consists of parts of language and then progressively moves up and becomes a whole concept. Children are first taught separate letters, then words, then phrases, and then sentences, and then lastly the meaning of the text. Behaviorists believe that reading is a combination of different skills. They also believe that reading is text-driven and that learners should first learn and master each individual skill before being able to understand comprehension. Reading out loud for this theory is essential for a learner beginning to read. This theory helps with the development of sub-skills, which eventually leads to obtaining complex reading skills. Synthetic approach consists of alphabetic and phonic reading methods, whilst the analytical approach consists of the look and say reading method, whilst the eclectic reading method is a combination of the phonic method and look and say method, which is also known as the combined method. So now that we know what the behaviorist theory is, how do we apply it to our own teaching? First of all, a reading readiness program must be created before a learner can start to learn how to read. Isolated perception exercises without any context are used so that learners can be ready to start learning how to read. Learners should be taught individual words and then have their vocabulary slowly increase. Using repetition of the same word allows for learners to develop word recognition. Then, assessments are usually standardized reading tests and are formal. The psycholinguistic theory is seen as a problem-solving approach which is used to understand written language, and is also seen as a holistic approach. This theory does not comprise individual sub-skills, but rather seen as a whole. This process starts at the top of the triangle that goes from language as a whole and then moves down into its separate parts. This theory assumes that learners have a general understanding of the written language and how it works. This allows the learners to make sense of the printed word. Psycholinguistics believe that reading is global and that all skills are used simultaneously in order for the learners to understand the text. This theory is comprehension-driven and allows the learners to bring prior knowledge to the text and construct questions about it. The most important thing that forms the foundation of reading for this theory is meaning. The learners play with books and can then discover that written text has meaning. For this theory, silent reading is essential as it allows for reflection and comprehension. Now that we know what the psycholinguistic theory is, how will we apply it to our own classrooms? First of all, we should allow the learners to play with books and discover things for themselves. Then, teachers often write down a sentence that the learner wants to read, and this is often the first text that are so-called read. Children should have a variety of different reading materials accessible to them, such as storybooks, posters, and recipes. Learners are encouraged to read to themselves and use illustrations to interpret what is happening in the story. It is an informal process that allows for the learner to use different reading strategies. Learners are assessed according to whether they form meaning from a written text or not. It is actually neither. The correct answer is actually a combination of the two theories, which is known as the balanced approach. A balanced approach is the best of both worlds, as it not only provides a whole language approach by using interactive reading and writing, it also uses word studies and guided reading. There are many components that help teachers to teach both reading and writing, which then structures the day to have many opportunities to teach. That's all for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. Go ahead, like this video below and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.